Hey everybody, I'm here today with Harold. We've got an incredible story. They actually came in from the Philippines, working an accounting job, and now they're living the American dream. We just helped them get their first, about to get their second home, but I'll let them talk a little bit more into it. And now they're coming in as real estate investors, which is super awesome. We've helped them secure, I believe it was like over 170,
Right.
175K in funding. So absolutely huge results, which has already been making massive changes in their lives. So I'm super excited to share their journey with you guys. Um, yeah, Harold, can you just tell me a little bit more about yourself, where you're from, and what you were doing before we started working together?
Yeah, as mentioned by Miguel, I grew up in the Philippines together with my wife. We met there in one of our companies. So both of us are accountants. And then
Mm-hmm.
we met again back in the US, like during post COVID, like I think 2001. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we got married here, found a job, and we had also our first baby like 2 years after our marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we met Miguel like back in the day. We were just renting a small apartment, a 1 bedroom apartment, and we met Miguel around, I think, was it last year? Yeah, last year.
That was about last year ago, maybe
Last
a
year
year and a
around
half, I think.
like September, September of last year. And during that time, of course, we are a growing family, so we wanted to have our own home and start our own business, mainly in real estate. So that's where we saw, my wife is actually the first one who saw Miguel's coaching online, and then we contacted him, and yeah, this is where we are right now. Like we asked him about funding. He trained us. We have like weekly sessions, like from step one until we get the funding that Miguel mentioned, are more than 100,000. So yeah, that's
Oh
how
yeah.
our journey began.
Nice. And I think it's like super inspiring for some of the people who might watch this just because like I'm first generation Filipino. Both my parents were farmers. My mom became a doctor, came to the US to like live the same American dream. She got a house and was able to like, actually afford to like raise her family out here. And I feel like being able to buy a home, especially in these days where how homes
Right.
are so
Mhm.
expensive, the income like the the income pay isn't growing as much as the cost of housing.
Right.
So we have
Right.
to come in here and be very creative on how we do it. And I know I remember when I was first working with you guys, there were challenges because I was like, okay, you guys are pretty new to the US.
Right.
Credit is super thin, but like we helped build it out. And
Mhm.
honestly, I was even surprised with the results. I was like, dude, 175 grand on
Right.
like basically like baby credit. Like I was really impressed by it, and I was just really happy with you guys taking it seriously and being action takers. So it was really cool. I knew from the beginning, I was just like, all right, this is gonna be such a cool testimonial. Like I really want to give them like the best service just because I feel like the story is just so great. Like you guys came from the Philippines, you guys got married here, you guys were new, just had a baby, and you guys are like, other than what you guys were working on your job, it seemed like, you didn't want to rely just on your job. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
Gotcha. What was kind of the motivating factor from you? Obviously getting into funding, getting into real estate, it's work, right? On top of your normal 9 to 5 jobs, it's already kind of tough. I'm just curious, what kind of motivated you guys to actually jump into this knowing that it was going to be work from the beginning?
Right, right. I think most people think that, like, okay, the initial, like, because it's business funding, you want to like start a business, and then
Mhm.
most, like, you will hear people like, I'm tired of my 9 to 5, I want to quit it, I want to start my own business. That's why I'm gonna jump into business funding and start my own business. But it doesn't work that way. Your 9 to 5 is the one that's like sustaining you. you know
Yes.
like you have a continuous source of income, and then your business funding, because I should say it's not like 100%. Once you get the funding, you can start your own business and then you can live your 9 to 5. It's not always that way. So our drive mainly is, like, we have our 9 to 5. We want to earn an additional income, start our own business. And at the same time, because we're a growing family, want a stable home. We want our own home. So that those are the two like main factor for us, like um a business of our own and also our own home. Because
Yeah.
renting in, especially in California, is almost the same cost as like paying a mortgage for a home.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense like doing your buying your own home. But the problem
Mhm.
is, as Miguel mentioned, we're new in the US, um, we are not like those people who were born here that from age of 16 or what, there you have already your credit line. Ours is very young. Mine was like 5 years. My wife is like less 2 years or a year.
Yeah, it was like a year when we were working
Yeah, so
together.
like it does make sense. I know here in the US, like credit's important more than the cash that you have. So in order to
Yeah.
get business funding, we have to, navigate our way, find a mentor who can help us, get the funding. And that's where Miguel came in and really helped us all throughout the processes.
No, I'm glad. And
Yep.
it wasn't just me, it was you guys put the effort into it too. And a couple things I really liked that you had to say was like, number one, like credit here in the US is super important, right? I feel like something a lot of people think they can do is just kind of save their way to wealth, which is
Yeah.
like, I mean, you could do that, but you'll probably be like 70 and retired by then or something, right?
Yeah.
And not like you're just like saving your way to the top and you don't really get to live life. So I really liked what you kind of had to say was just like here in America, credit is so important. Sometimes more important than the cash that's actually in the
Right.
bank. Because like if you're just kind of getting by or you're just you have enough for savings, but like you have this business or investment where this could literally start cash flowing, appreciating, make passive income, whatever it is, but you just simply don't have the money or the credit for it, then you're just stuck in that one bedroom apartment, just kind of
Right.
daydreaming, versus before you could, if you have the funds to actually take action. And the other thing I wanted to dive a little deeper into, right? It's just like the funding's like a big step to get people to start their business, but
Right.
rarely often just to be like safe. I always recommend to people, keep your day job because a
Sure.
business and investment, it's not going to be super quick. I made the
Yeah.
mistake of like I had businesses in the past and I was like, oh, this is gonna work. And then the next thing I know, I got my back against the wall and I'm broke. You know what I mean? So always have like a safety plan, but also know the funding is a big step in the right direction. And I guess before we got started working together, what were some of the challenges that you guys were facing when it came? Because you guys knew you wanted to get into real estate. You wanted that American dream of starting your own business,
Right.
owning your own home, having that like family stability and having more time with your family. What were kind of the challenges to actually get into that first property for you guys?
Oh, challenges, of course, is, as Miguel know, we're young here in the US, so we don't have that enough money in our bank account,
Mhm.
to pay, like, for example, for down payment or the mortgages, and at the same time, our family needs. So I think that's one of the like high priority need that we were like reason why we need the funding. And
Mhm.
yeah, at the same time, the day-to-day job, doesn't pay that much because, as mentioned, California, like the cost of living here is really expensive.
It's so expensive. I
Yeah.
like what you said about the rent thing too, because
Mhm.
like, dude, you're paying like 2, 3 grand in rent
Right.
a month. That's basically almost the cost. It's like slightly cheaper than a mortgage, depending on
Right.
where you're at, but it's just like, dude, like, why am I gonna pay this landlord's rent, have no equity, and I'm just, you're basically kind of throwing money away. If I could, because the hardest thing was just having enough money for the down payment, and then after that, you would just pay your regular rent anyways. So like,
Right.
why not pay your own mortgage, which would technically be your rent? Might be a little bit more expensive, but like at the end of the day, it's yours. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I think another challenge too is we know what we want, but we don't know how to get there, like for the
Mhm.
funding itself and look for the home that we want to be living in. So yeah, that's where Miguel came in, like help us in the funding and also get us connected to people, to network who help us find our home. And
Yeah.
also taught us like what really suits our need and our, like, I call this our situation, the type of home
Mhm.
that suits our family right now. Yeah. And
Yeah.
we want that, and we want to be there. Like,
Yeah. And that's what I really liked about you guys was just I said it before, just being like serious action takers. Like you said, you know what you want.
Mhm.
And from what I kind of gathered, like obviously funding was a big hurdle, right? I would say, do you think that also just like the knowledge gap, because you guys knew you wanted to get into real estate, but like
Right,
you just like didn't have the knowledge for it, but you also knew you had the work ethic to go figure it out if you had like the right resources. And something I really liked about you guys was like, you're like, okay, I'm going to invest in myself to get into funding. Okay, I know I got funding, I understand it. Next thing is like the real estate side of things. Like, how do we get
right.
into it? And I know you guys have been investing in other people, other coaches
Yeah,
who could teach
yeah,
you that. And I hear this a lot of times when I'm talking to people is like those are typically the two biggest reasons why people don't do things. Number one is they just don't have the money. But if you have the
right,
funding for it, then cut that excuse out. The other
right.
part is they just don't have the experience doing it,
Yeah,
which and you don't want to make those costly mistakes yourself. So I like how you guys came about it was just like, all right, well, I already hired Miggle for funding. I know there's good coaches out there. Let me go
mhm.
hire somebody on the real estate side to like help us like not have to like potentially waste thousands of dollars in making our own mistakes. And I think you guys did really good as far as like knowing exactly what you wanted and how to overcome it, which was in not just getting the funding, but actually investing in yourself.
Yeah, investing in ourselves. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, do yeah, Miguel helped us. Like as mentioned, I think it's more on the finance side and as well as the experience and coaching part that we are missing because you don't want to navigate like uncharted territories where like you cannot like brave out everything out there when you know nothing about it,
Mhm.
right? As mentioned, it's costly. There are costs
Yes.
related to it if you like do things on your own, like especially if you're new to this real estate business and this business funding. Yeah,
Yeah. There's the cost of mistakes trying to figure it out on your own, and then also too, just like I know I will pay
the
for
time.
speed
Yeah.
any yeah the time like I just want to get there fast. You know what I mean? And I
Mhm.
want it done right. And if it costs a little bit of money, it's a lot better than losing it, figuring out on your own those costly mistakes. So it's really good to know. As far as this, like, let's kind of talk about the turning point, right? Like, what kind of made you guys decide to reach out and work with us instead of trying to do it out on your own in the first place? I guess we actually just talked about it, right? It would be like the timing and the not
Right.
making the mistakes. So, I guess the follow up with that is like, did you guys have any doubts or fears whether this would work or not?
Well, of course, like anything new that you get into, there's like fears and doubt. Like, it
Yes.
really gonna work? Are we really gonna get approved with this amount? It seems like a shot in the moon. Like, are
Mm-hmm.
we really gonna get like? We're only like, for example, we're only like expecting like below 100K approval, and that would be fine for us. As long as
Yeah.
we get, and then we were just thinking like, and then eventually we just get another one. But the
Hmm.
first time we tried it, as Miguel walked us through each step, give us guidance, like the video trainings, the document trainings, and we just like follow it the way we need it. The weekly calls one on one, like the action item was really helpful. Like Miguel telling us, this you need to do, this you need to call, this you need to check, this you need to submit, or your how and specific to our needs. Like for me, for example. So yeah, those are the doubts. But then as you do it, like step by step, you don't just jump from step 1 to step 10. You do everything from 1 to 10. You follow, and then if you have questions, Miguel was always been there, like available in chat, like telling us what needs to be done. And then those fears and doubts eventually, one by one, like fading until we cross
Yeah.
the finish line where we get that funding that we really
Yeah.
surprised us.
I really like what you mentioned there too, was like anything new that you're gonna do, of course, it's scary.
Mhm.
And I think there's a lot of indecision with people just because it's just like, right, they know what they want and they know what they don't want. So they're trying to get away from this and get to here. And a lot of times I think people let fear kind of rule over. They use
Right.
that idea of like, oh, I'm thinking about it, and then they just think about it for like a couple of days, and then they just go back to their regular lives, and until something pisses them off to where like, okay, I gotta revisit this, but
Yeah.
they never really take action. And I'm really glad that wasn't you guys because I remember when we started talking, it was pretty straightforward. I just told you guys, hey, this is what I could offer. Comes with a
Mhm.
guarantee, like, and you guys were basically like, all right, let's do it. I believe in it, and it seemed you guys just kind of took that leap of faith, which I'm very grateful that you guys trusted me, and I'm glad that we have the results
Right.
to show that that trust didn't go in vain. Um, but I do feel like obviously you start something new, there's gonna be fear, but on the other side of that fear, if you make the decision to just push through it, it could completely change your life exactly with what just happened. Over
Right.
170K funded, just got a house, about to buy another one and invest. Like
Right.
it's pretty insane. So as far as this, like you guys were the ones who came in, pushed through the fear and the doubts. But if you hadn't taken that leap or made that decision, where do you think you'd still be at this point?
I think we're still like working our day-to-day jobs, like stuck in our one-bedroom apartment, our kids growing,
Yeah.
paying for something we don't own. Yeah, and like
Yeah. No,
that's
totally.
just it. Like we don't know we don't know where we're going. It's like continue our daily lives.
Yeah, I just kind of stay stuck in that
Right.
cycle.
Mhm.
Um, and then as far as this, looking back, like if you had put this on back like another 6 to 12 months, yeah, you'd
Mhm.
probably still be stuck in the same place. What do you think was the thing that made you decided to not wait?
Because of the opportunities out there, we research. My wife, like especially my wife, like loves researching about business opportunities, especially in real estate. It's the funding that's holding us back. And it's our
Hmm.
credit score that's holding us back, those two stuffs. And again, also we're not aware that when you start business, I mean, maybe most of you know that you need to start an LLC. We also learned
Hmm.
that from Miguel and how to do that like
Correct.
correctly in order to get the right funding. Once you call the bank for the 0% funding that Miguel teaches. Yeah,
Hmm.
so yeah, I think that's where I hope I answered the question. That's
No, that's
yeah.
perfect. Yeah, and I think too, like just pushing past the fear,
Mhm.
just being decisive, just puts you in a way different bracket of just like going after it. Just because, right? If you let the fear win, then you're stuck in the same place, and you're not doing anything about it, and
Right.
that's obviously not the case for you guys. As far as like kind of like the transformation, walk us through what happens, right? So once we secured you guys the funding, can you remind us how much we got you funded for and what you guys did with it and
Yeah, I think
you guys are planning to?
more or less around 100, 130,
30.
130,000 each.
Okay,
I mean,
130K. Gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha. And
130.
then you guys got like personal credit too, right?
Yeah, also our personal credit got increased. So
Okay.
I added up maybe like 170.
Okay. Cool,
Yeah,
cool.
including the personal credit increased. Yeah, what changed? Like once we get the funding, it opened doors, like opportunities. Like, aside from real estate, I mean mainly in regards to real estate and also like open up because every coaching, you need funding to pay, like for example, Miguel. I mean, that's part of it. You pay for their knowledge, you pay for their
Mhm.
experiences, you pay for their guidance. I know people like questioning, like even when we were starting, like to get mentors, I always talk to my wife, like, is it really worth it? Like paying
Mhm.
this person, is he really gonna help us?
Yeah.
It takes a like from a day to a week to decide before going into each mentor. But with the funding, it helps us decide quickly because we get the money, at the end of the day. Um aside from our due diligence, like checking each mentor who's really worth it. And we have Miguel, like who was also before like in the real estate that where we want to get in. Like we also ask for his advice and some networks that he had given us, so which help us like navigate to where we are right now in the real estate world. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm glad. And
Mhm.
I know you guys are sitting in the new home you guys just got.
Right, right.
And then I know you guys, I think Netty was telling me you guys are actually picking up a new property out in Michigan.
Mhm.
Can you tell us a little bit about
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Yeah, I can share it. Like, yeah, it's my wife. Like, we've learned.
I'm about to get the deed weeks from now, maybe in 2 weeks time.
Let's
And
go. Heck
yeah, I
yeah.
already bought it, and it's already the Michigan State, I mean the Genesee County just need to have it recorded,
The type,
the
transfer the
deed,
title,
yeah,
the deed.
to the LLC, to my own LLC. So yeah,
Yeah, we're
it
really
hap-
happy about it. Like, it's
it's
not.
a 5 bedroom
That's
and 3 bath
crazy.
Yeah,
house.
it's
That's
very huge. He
insane.
was just showing me the picture, the video earlier. It's really,
Yeah, I
really
had
huge.
someone in there to inspect the property.
That's insane. That's crazy. You guys just like bought two. You guys are like, because like most people here in America will live their whole life never owning a home, and
Yeah,
you guys just came in here with the work ethic, with the belief in yourselves, with just all that stuff. You guys came in new to America, already got your first house, and literally buying a second one. So like two in 1 year is pretty freaking nuts.
Oh yeah,
like,
oh
yeah,
yeah,
like
it
this
is.
is definitely
it
something
is. It is.
Now
people.
it's sinking in.
That's thinking. Nettie and I were just talking about, like, it's not like an overnight process, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Before we failed, like, oh, this is not the way. We get discouraged, you know. We joined some seminars, and it's like, no, no, we can't do it. And then, you know, we will. It's learning. The moment you fail, as long as you have the right, you know, mindset, like you breathe through it, and then you have right people like coaching you, right network that, you know, encourage you. Yeah, I mean, that's where. And now we get the property. My wife get the property.
yeah. And that's such a good thing to talk about too, because like
Mhm.
again, business investing, it's not a straight shot. You're gonna make mistakes, even when you do invest in yourself. But hopefully these people that you're investing in is still helping you like minimize those mistakes. But it's
Right.
nice because in this game it's a full contact sport. Like you get hit and you're like, fuck, this doesn't work. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, you just test something else. Like
Yeah.
trust me, I'm in that same spot too. Like I have those months where I'm like, damn it, this doesn't it didn't
Yeah.
work. I was testing this out, like for example with ads, like I just spent all this money and I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever. I lost some money, but I know I'm like if I stay in this game long enough, this
Mhm.
gonna those mistakes, like you said, is a learning lesson, which will that's just one way not to do it. I'm gonna go this way, and then that
Yeah.
could pay for itself. So that's awesome. I'm glad you guys are out here crushing it, living the American dream. As far as this, now that you guys are about to buy your second property, what's the vision for the next couple years? Like, where do you guys kind of see things? Like, I know you guys are working your jobs. What was the goal
Right.
to eventually like just do your business full time, or do you guys like doing that full time, or like, where do you
Yeah.
guys kind of see things long term?
Yeah, that's the goal. Family priority. You know, our baby's growing, so we want to
She's
spend
so cute,
time.
dude. Oh my God. She
Yeah.
looks like she's straight out of a Disney movie.
Yeah, she's sleeping right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's her nap time. But yeah, want to focus, spend more time with family. So that's the goal. Like, eventually, not like tomorrow or next week or next month, like leave our 9 to 5. 9 to 5 is gonna still be there as long as, you know, we need it. But yeah,
yeah,
the goal is have a very sustainable business, really bank into real estate. Like, we maybe next year another two, you
yeah,
know, get another two property. We just gonna like, um, you know, rinse and repeat everything that we're doing, and then
definitely.
yeah, and real estate's not just about home. There are also other stuffs in there that we're also learning into right now. Get another mentor. Yep,
Yeah,
and yep, and of course, like, travel the world. Yeah.
nice. I love that. Cool. So we'll kind of wrap this up. I just got a
Mm.
couple more questions for you guys. Like, what would you say to somebody who was in the same spot as you guys were, right? Like back then, you guys were new to real estate, didn't have the money,
Mhm.
there was fear and some doubt. So for those people who are like thinking, I want to leave this 9 to 5, I want to spend more time with my family, travel, I want to own a home.
Mm.
Maybe they want to invest and grow their like a different type of business, but they think funding is holding them back. What would you say to those people who are in that same spot that you once were?
Yeah, I could think of three things. So first one, fears and doubts will always be there, especially something new, but always next to it, like once you walk through it, something new, it's either you're gonna learn something
Mm-hmm.
or you're gonna
Yes.
like it's always gonna be, you're gonna learn or gain something once you like get past that fears and doubts, and it's not gonna go away. Like
Yes.
it's gonna be there like every time because you're growing, you know. I don't think like
Yeah.
even the most successful business person in this world like doesn't have, because you want to venture, you want to grow. So yeah, fears and doubt, I should say, equates to growth.
Mhm.
So you're just gonna take that step, and then yeah, find good mentors. You know, it doesn't mean Miguel work with us. You know, it's gonna suit you too. But for me, it's Miguel who helped us. We check different mentors, like do your due diligence. You know, talk to them
Mhm.
initially and see what they're like offering into. You know, it I don't think Miguel gonna feel bad. You know, if you are checking also other person. You know, that's the way you do it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean that's the second thing. Do your due diligence. Then third thing, take action. You know, don't just watch
Mhm.
video. Don't just look at like testimonials or tutorials. You know, it's really about taking action. You know, where knowledge not being put into action like will gain you nothing, right?
Yeah. No, I really like those 3 points. Fear and doubt is always going to be there. We're here to grow. So everything at a certain point, if you're at this level trying to get to here, this is going to be new. So it's good.
Right,
You're going to have some fear and doubt.
right.
Definitely do the due diligence, whether it's me, like, or somebody else. Main thing is that you guys are growing and getting closer towards
Mhm.
your goals. And then the last thing, what was the last thing you mentioned?
Last thing I mentioned is was take action.
Take action, yes. And again, I keep saying this, but I love that about you guys because I've had people in the past where I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking do it for you. Like you're taking way too long. You're not following any of the directions. I'm just gonna do it for you. So yeah, take action. There's this thing called it's called mental masturbation.
Mhm.
And it's like those people who just go on TikTok and Instagram and they just scroll all this motivational shit or that they're researching, quote unquote, but they're never
Yeah.
actually taking action on it. So it's just something to be aware of. Yeah, I mean that's like the biggest thing. I think that was super valuable to know. So we'll just kind of wrap it up here.
Mhm.
Like I said, this is the shit that I love to do. I love being able to help you and Nettie unlock these different opportunities that you guys, some people might not even have thought possible. Like I'm sure a lot
Right.
of people out there who are new to America are like, how the hell am I going to buy a house after only being here for a couple years? I'm not from here originally, but you guys are like living, breathing proof that, hey, if you have the work ethic, you're willing to take the risk and, obviously do the due diligence and take action and invest in yourselves, then, anything is possible. So if you guys are watching this and you're ready to stop waiting, stop mentally masturbating, and finally start funding your guys' dream, drop the word funding in the comments or just send me a message directly and let's see if we can help you guys out like we help them. Thank you guys.